Hello again, everybody. Time for more of the Green Earth campaign. I think this time I'm going to pick one of the Drake levels, so that we've seen all of the Green Earth COs at least once. I'll start with this one because the other one is terrible. This one's pretty good though. It's one of the few straightforward fights in the Green Earth campaign, I would say. Most of the other ones have some kind of gimmick. Everyone makes a big deal out of building airports in this mission. I do like Lash and Hawk's dynamic a fair amount, and I'm glad they kept the two of them around for the next game. I don't really mind them getting rid of Flak and Adder. They were funny, but they weren't really good characters. So, Navy vs. Air, an ominous title, because of course we're playing as the Navy here. And I've said before just how bad naval units are and how much air units tend to crush them. I guess in this universe, airports are not just places where planes take off and land, but places where they're manufactured too, so it probably would take greater effort than we would think of building an airport to require. Again, it shows that Lash is really competent at everything except battlefield command, basically. Even the game acknowledges it. Okay, so let's take a look at our CO here. This is one of the first few missions of the game where it is very clear that we are playing as a badly inferior CO. Most of the time up until now we've been playing against people who are just weak, like Adder or Flak, or we're playing as Eagle against Hawk, where Eagle has some advantages and some disadvantages in comparison. Drake is just a bad CO compared to our opponent Hawk, though. He's like a jolly pirate guy with an old-timey telescope for some reason. And he's kind of interesting in how they gave him his bonuses in this game. One thing I've said before I really like about this game, best in the series, is how they tended to give more interesting types of CO bonuses than later entries did. Dual Strike in particular just kind of give everybody plus attack power bonuses to their specialized units. Across the board, always about the same amount too, which is really boring. This game, it's a whole mix. For Drake, no attack bonuses for naval units, you just get plus defense and plus movement. I'm not sure that's necessarily better, but it's at least interesting. I like that this game did things more interestingly. And a minor bonus, movement isn't affected by rain. That doesn't really come up very often, except that his superpower causes rain. So his CO power and superpower are fairly straightforward. They just kind of do global damage to all enemy units. Easy to use, very powerful on big maps. This makes him quite good in multiplayer, despite being fairly weak otherwise. Superpower does the same thing, but more damage. So you might think it's kind of comparable to Olaf's power and Hawk's power, and you'd be right about that. The other thing about his is that it hinders enemy movement by causing rain. So it doesn't affect him, but it does affect enemies. In Fog of War, rain also decreases visibility, and that does actually hurt Drake, but that's never going to come up really, so don't worry about that. As you can see here, his penalties to air units are huge. Minus 30%, so his air units are just awful. But naval units have bonus movement, which is something at least. So let's take a look at the map here. It's fairly interesting. We have these three papers, which are supposed to be good anti-air units, but are pretty bad at the job, as we've seen before. Hawk has 6 helicopters, which ordinarily would be more than a match for 3 paper. For anyone new to the series, by the way, who's wondering why I'm referring to them as paper, it goes back to Mission 5, when I talked about how naval combat in this game is a game of rock, paper, scissors. I intend to beat that joke to death, which will be good for my power score, I'm sure. I've come up with a strategy here to get actually 0 casualties. You might expect me to load a person onto that lander, but I'm actually not going to do so. Instead I'm going to build myself an APC and an infantry and load onto it next turn. Because the main reason I want to drop off people over here is to get to these bases, and it's a long, long walk if you simply drop off an infantry. You're better off, I think, dropping off an APC. With that, let's end the turn. So the reason that's really hard to get 0 casualties in this mission is that Hawk's swarm of B-copters can easily overwhelm your paper and kill one of them in 2 shots. Even with Drake's defense bonuses, they still kill you in 2 shots. So I had to come up with some kind of workaround to save them. One important thing is get this anti-air into play as fast as possible, because they can take them out with impunity. So let's get loaded up onto that. We'll start capturing, but I'm actually going to advance over toward the northeast here rather than capturing the 2 obvious bases. And I'm not going to actually build an infantry here. I'm going to save my money so I can get a lander next turn. Now you might expect that in this mission that's kind of Drake's mission, that they would make it so his movement bonuses are actually relevant, but they're really not here. Even with Drake's movement, you just come out one short of getting to this port, which is really frustrating. I don't know why they did it that way. Alright, keep advancing our fleet of paper. And we'll see what Hawk chooses to do. He actually has several airports, as you can see, so we can deploy lots and lots of air units, but luckily, his economy is not very big. You've probably noticed that Central Island is just crawling with cities. So if he's able to get those, then you're in big trouble, because then they can actually start deploying out large numbers of units, including many bombers that can overwhelm you pretty fast. If I keep his economy small, he'll only ever get copters out, which are much less of a problem, of course. Okay, it is time for another lander. Now, I can't land at the port no matter what I do. So I might as well try to distract the copters by walking over here. This will let me walk over there next turn, but it might lure some copters over to come this way instead of up here. We'll see. In any case, what I'm going to do is load up onto that port. Now, the reason that Drake's defense bonuses are usually not that impressive is that there's just not that much terrain available if you are at sea. Sea just gives 0 defense stars, and reefs only give 1 star. They're not even really like forests. Forests give 2 stars. And so you can't really stack up your Drake bonuses with terrain bonuses for maximum effect. Ports are a rare exception to that. On this port, my ship has 50% bonus defense, so he does not dare attack a Drake paper with a copter. And so by his calculations, it's not worth doing the attack. The upshot of which is that I can actually take out his copter pretty much for free there. Now I can't just dilly-dally and sit here, letting him do this forever. Because I've got to get my units dropped off on the island over here. Now, if I dropped off... I'm trying to figure out where it's safe to drop the APC. I'd love to have the APC tank a single shot, but I don't think I can actually do that safely. So I will instead drop off like so, and like that. And the lander should probably end up taking a hit, but that's fine by me. Meanwhile, I'll keep capturing up here. And I'll just walk in this direction. And now I can build myself more infantry. The other thing to make sure you do right on this mission is manage Hawk's CO power and superpower. They're pretty much strictly better than yours. A little bit more expensive, but he'll be taking more damage anyway, so the expense doesn't really hamper him that much. So you want to make sure that he gets either Black Wave, or that he gets Black Storm at some unimportant time, pretty much. Neat. I haven't seen him do this bad a formation before, but I'll take it. So, down goes that copter. Now, can he actually attack over here? He cannot. Cool. So, I will just keep shooting up his copters, one at a time. I haven't had such good luck with him before. Usually he'll be able to hit a lander twice, and so I'll have to pull a paper off of its terrain to attack one of those copters to let the lander run to safety. But this time it's working out even better than usual. Alright, let me grab that base. And stand these folks there. And load up. I'm probably going to build myself another... Do we build another anti-air or not? 2, 3... Or I could save my money, basically, for a special unit. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, I will pass my turn for now. So Hawk's getting his airport. He sent a lot of infantry up there this time for some reason. But he will still get down to the main island pretty soon. I need to stop him from capturing things down there so I keep his economy small. Alright, so this run I need to bring in all 3 of my paper to clear out all of his copters so that he cannot interrupt the important capture of that factory. I will need that. So down goes that copter. I guess this means I'm going for a Black Storm rather than the Black Wave this time, because this will definitely give him 6 stars and therefore it'll push him past his Black Wave threshold. So basically I took out all of his copters unscathed. Typically, I do end up getting hit by, you know, 2 of them on my lander or something like that with this strategy, but it still works out really well, as you can see. Alright, we've got another one loaded up.
And now I need to decide what to build this turn. I've tried out a few different build orders for this mission, depending on how Hawk is moving and how his power bar is looking. I am strongly considering a rocket now, which will be quite useful later on, but is of course hard to get into position fast, so it's good to build one before you need it. I think I might deploy that from the newly captured base instead though, and build an anti-air over here, because I can more easily get onto the lander. And of course, I'll go ahead and put that lander down there.
Advance this full speed. The APC might be useful too. You can see there's a quite narrow bridge here. If I can block him off on that bridge, even if it's just with an APC for a few turns, that really slows him down in getting his economy growing. Okay, well, we can load up. Finish capturing that. I'm going to drive full speed over here. I want to actually drop over here and just start capturing what should be rightfully his stuff. So now the question is, do I take out his T-copter or not? I do get a nice free hit on that infantry, which is helpful. If I kill the T-copter, he'll need to replace it, and he can't as easily bring things over, but it also builds up his CO power gauge a little bit faster. Managing that's going to be pretty important. I think I am still going to go for it, though. Make him build another one, make him waste money on that. And slow down his progress of getting infantry over here. You can sometimes just park one of your papers outside that airport and just shoot anything he builds from it. This one, I mean. But I think that's not as good as blocking him outright by preventing him from ever capturing it. Alright, I'm going to sail right over there. So he does get one city there, but keeping him to 1 is amazingly effective here. If I can do that, that will be a great start for me. The big problem with managing his CO power is that he's going to just keep building copters every couple of turns, and that'll fuel him up fairly quickly, and I can't do much about that. But I'll do what I can, take that thing down. I'll drop these 2 off. I will station that APC there and see if I can just block it. I don't know if he'll be dumb enough to fall for it, but it's worth a try at least. If not, I've at least blocked him for 1 turn, and I've injured this guy enough that I can't stop my infantry from going ahead and capturing it soon. I need to get another base here so I can deploy more troops on this mainland. It's not efficient to be constantly needing to spam out lander drops and whatnot. Now, do I want to build the scissors from back there? I think I do. I'm going to drop off an infantry here and then keep moving after that. I would love to actually take a little bit of damage on one of my papers so I can join them together. That'll happen when he does the superpower, but it'd be great to have it happen earlier just so that I could more easily deploy out expensive ground units now. Alright, so what's he going to do on the bridge? Okay, he joins his infantry there. He is being semi-intelligent at least. Well, do I go for his T-copter or not? One thing I need to do is I need to make sure that I take out at least 4 units in 1 turn. That's going to be required to get a good power score, because there's no way really to stop him from going over 30 units in my experience. No matter how fast you capture, he will get to that threshold at least. Go ahead and capture that so we have a place to repair this scissors when it inevitably gets hurt.
Indirects are really useful for winning this mission quickly, because real estate is so scarce as you move into Hawk's base on that narrow bridge and in that forest area, that you really want to have a scissors or a rocket ready to just get a second hit on things so you can instant kill them.
Take that thing out. Alright, so he has been completely stymied on the mainland here. This is fantastic. I'm going to capture his city, and then he's completely shut down. Alright, do I go for his T-copter? I think the answer is yes, I'm going to just do it. And if he wants to shoot my APC while it's on that forest, he is welcome to do so. Hopefully that'll force him to build out another T-copter. Just keep him wasting his money as much as possible.
Alright, I need to find a way to break through Hawk's walls on the bridge. That's one of the main challenges to winning this mission quickly. There's a 28 turn speed limit, so you can totally take your time if you want to, but I want to try to win in about half that time for glory. Obviously, in a narrow space like that, being able to instant kill his units is really, really important, otherwise you just get stuck, and that's why it's so useful to build Neotanks and anti-airs in this mission. No other melee units are really very valuable, I think. One thing I've been focusing on, by the way, is trying to make sure that I have as many units in transports as possible, especially infantry for capturing, or expensive units, at the time that Hawk's superpower goes off. Because infantry in transports, or units in transports, don't take damage from Black Storm. It's basically the only way to protect them.
I also want to capture these advanced cities, so I have places to repair my units over there. Well, maybe I will build a rocket here, too. And then I can just sit tight. I wonder, if I stand that there, will he attack it with a tank for scratch damage? Yes, he will. Oh. Not enough scratch damage to actually let me join anything. Okay. Well, I can keep him building harmless T-copters at least if I just keep slaughtering them. But he is about to get his superpower. Not much I can do about that. So, how can I mitigate the damage at least? Well, it's... Oh, I should have advanced these infantry more. Oh well. One's going to take a hit. The other one can be safely loaded on. Or I could just delay it a turn. That might be best. Alright, I think I'm going for it. I will station the scissors here, delaying it a turn, just to get it healed up so it's at full power. I'll need that to break through some walls later on. Oh, you know what would be funny? I wish I could just drop a guy off over there and have it live. If I brought, like, a more expensive tank, I could just drop it under his factory and block it now, and that would be wonderful. But it didn't really work out with the way things were positioned. I should take this opportunity, I think, to load up a guy into there, and then just start shooting infantry down this bridge so I can take over ground now while the getting is good. The more of it I occupy, the less of this one tile-wide space I need to fight through later on. And I will build infantry over here, but nothing expensive. I want to save my money for after his storm hits. Luckily, better doesn't just mean more powerful. Hawk is certainly the more powerful combatant here.
By the way, this won't come up if you follow this strategy and therefore take almost no damage where Hawk takes tons and tons in the early turns. But just make sure that if you do get Tsunami before Hawk, or around the same time that Hawk gets his superpower, don't use yours before him, or he'll just heal up all that damage and you'll have basically wasted your power. Except for whatever kills it helps you get in that very first turn. His power is really painful in this mission. You know, the bigger your army is, the more it hurts to have 2 HP taken off of everybody. But that's just the way it is.
I can drive that rocket up there and get it repaired. That will be great. Work on more captures. I'll get them done eventually. I did take damage in this infantry that was avoidable, but it's okay. Doesn't really matter. My scissors is almost in position. I will join up a couple of these papers for more money. And then I'm going to probably surprise all of you and build a terrible, terrible Drake B-copter. Oh, you know, I'm rethinking one move that I made. I will walk those two back there. 4 captures to do. I'm going to build myself a Neo tank over there. Maybe I'll join those up and crank out a fresh anti-air to more easily break the wall so that they can totally redeploy. I only really need to have 1 fresh paper to take out everything he builds as long as I keep his economy small so he can't build any bombers. That's the key. No bombers. Alright, that city is mine. That will get my guys repaired up. These cities are too, so my economy is really growing by leaps and bounds at this point. If I stand here, that's pretty good. I can shell most of his troops. Neo-tanks are wonderful for breaking through down here, so I'll get plenty of those. Drop off. And drop off. I really should have avoided having one of those. Both of them really take the hit, but that's okay. Let him shoot my lander here if he wants to, I think. Now, I need a way to take out that infantry. As you can see, mine is really bad at the job. My copter, that is really bad at the job. So, hooray for Drake copters. But with any kind of decent luck, this will take them out. Okay.
The best use of your papers after the first few turns is to join them up to free up funds for more valuable units, like Neo-tanks. They represent a piggy bank of about 36,000 money to harvest as fast as possible. This scroll is useful for both rockets and landers, basically for the same reason.
And the reason that's good is it lets me start shelling that base. And I'll take out one of these infantry because it keeps walking them into their deaths. And that forces him to keep building infantry and mechs out of his back factories too, which is beneficial to me. I think I'll also build myself a T-copter. Nothing wrong with Drake T-copters, because only his offense is penalized. Neat. Down goes that copter. You know, I'm beginning to rethink things here. I want to start fighting across that bridge again, of course. And the Neo-tank can finally break through the APC. He's walled me out with his own APC, just like I did to him. He's learning things from the master here. But not anymore. I've got my superpower at the ready, which will help to blast through him. Move into that T-copter. Start blasting at that thing. I'm hoping to force it into repairs so it goes up to one of his bases. But we'll see what actually ends up being viable. Got a lander coming over here that could be handy. Let's load up there for now. Although this attack will get me taking some chip dams, I'm still going to do it, I think. Continue the captures, just keep growing that economy so I can flood things in. It's good to capture cities with injured guys so they get healed up afterward. Actually, I think I'm in kind of the home stretch here. We should probably stop bothering with captures and just speed things up. So forget that. I won't bother any further with those things. Great. I'm going to take out this T-copter. It's a double kill. It doesn't count for power score. Kill things in transports, it doesn't count. But still helpful. Take shots at the infantry just to be chipping things down wherever possible, making it easier to break through. If I could get my superpower, that would be fantastic, actually. I wonder if it's possible. It's going to be a close call. I've got it. I don't want to use it this turn or on a future turn. I think I'm going for it now. So, 2 damage to all of his units, and we'll see the neat little rain backgrounds in battles from now on. They did work on that just like for Olaf's superpower, where every background in combat has kind of a rain coloration to it, which I think is pretty. Alright, I don't think that he is intelligent enough to maneuver troops around and stop me if I happen to use my T-copter drop off over there, so I might well try that. But for now, I've cleared out that factory, allowing me to... Let's see, maybe I'll put on an infantry, and perhaps an anti-air. Then I'll drop off the anti-air, blocking him over there, and the infantry down there. And then I'll start forcing my way through this gap. Just like that. So his defenses are crumbling. I now have 2 infantry that are in capture range of his HQ. He's got a useless unit on one of his factories. I guess I could have dropped off another guy with that instead, but whatever. Great, I'll build a bomber. They're useless, but they might help just attack some thing that might be in the way. Alright, what are you going to do with your recon? You're not going to do anything with your recon. Okay. Wrong move, bucko. Does he build any... No, I can't get to that T-copter anyway. I was thinking I could win by route this turn maybe, but no. Impossible to get to him. Can take that out easily enough. Its HQ is being captured. Just block the way. And at this point, he's helpless. I'm going to win on turn 17. So 11 days shaved off the time. 0 casualties. pretty cool stuff, I think. You need to make some variations on the strategy depending on how he actually moves exactly. But the general principle works of using the port to take cover so you can take up his copters with some safety, and dropping off an APC and anti-air on the mainland fast so you can capture the middle bases and then deploy a mix of neo-tanks, rockets, and things like that. Maybe with an area note too just to get things into action faster here. And then do some sneaky lander drops first here and then there to take over both the mainland and his base, while starving his economy. Yet, once again, even the game acknowledges that naval units are bad. They just didn't feel like fixing it, apparently. Even in the next game. They all kind of act as if they won their factory mission, they would somehow not lose the entire war after having lost the whole continent, but whatever.
Reinforcements a little bit too late, as happened several times throughout the Green Earth missions. Somehow they're never in time to help with the actual mission. It really is a bit of a nuisance if you let him build up and get bombers. Preventing him from doing that with this economic strategy is way better than dealing with his full air force. It's true, if Jake was as smug as Eagle while being as terrible as Drake is in the campaign, nobody would like him. Eagle gets away with it by actually being about as good as he thinks he is.
Alright. Well, got my pick of fun missions for next one. I'm looking forward to that. Until then, have a great day, everyone.